other people causes and put on my documentary. It's like this man is standing here. That's how I'm gonna do y'all in a minute. I'm gonna stand right there with my sign talking about free shorty and let the slaves go. Watch me. All right, this man is gonna tell me about his struggle and his passion, because if he has enough tenacity and determination to stand here and pass out his pamphlets and his information to get his message out, he deserves to be heard. And your name is?
My name is Andy Bessler, B-E-S-T-O-R. I have a blogspot, newnationaltheater.blogspot.com, broadly alleging the CIA is evading legislative oversight, and somehow we have to get the CIA back under control. How do you do that? Well, the military has a cap on the number of generals and admirals there are. Obama can't just be appointing people general. I basically claim the CIA needs that same kind of cap, and they need to trace those command positions into authorized work that Congress has agreed they can be undertaking.
So to be accountable for their action.
Right, exactly.
So it's not running a government underneath the government.
Exactly. Basically a secret government with their own funding mechanisms.
And on agenda to set forth policies that affect the mainstream society.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. You're somewhat familiar with this issue, I can tell.
I'm familiar with a lot of issues. I am a very well-rounded individual.
Sure.
So
they're out there. They're looking to get into the public schools. They're really behind the charter school movement, and that should be, in theory, peripheral to what I look at. They're certainly in the housing projects. They're, in given instances, causing trouble and undertaking crime patterns. A significant part of that.
Would you say the CIA is involved in the war on drugs?
I believe they very much entirely are the war on drugs. But really we should legalize drug usage. The problem is it's such a huge funding mechanism for them, and it's such a control mechanism for them, we can't even begin to talk about it.
So if put it this way, you got the problems with the banks and stuff. If the drugs were legalized, would it collapse society? Would you think it would collapse?
I have heard people say that the drug economy is such a big deal in the banking structure, it would. I don't believe it would at all. I very much
but if you legalize marijuana and cocaine and put it a cap in on a prescription like you would any other drug or alcohol and tax it, then you wouldn't have the gangs and the drugs and the violence that you have in America today. Would you agree?
That's my argument. The problem is a guy named Mike Huckabee, a Republican primary candidate named Mike Huckabee, came along and said we should abolish the income tax and strictly go with a national sales tax. Under Reagan, conceptually income taxes were cut, but all of a sudden college tuitions skyrocketed and medical care skyrocketed. Basically, those represent covert CIA funding sources. And it's possible they're taking so much money out of the drug structure, we can't afford to legalize it.
Remember the Iran-Contra hearings?
I do remember those.
Remember Oliver North?
I do, yeah.
Why wasn't Oliver North prosecuted? He was selling drugs.
Oh, I very much believe it's actually worse than North was peripheral to it.
I'm just saying he financed a covert operation at the blood of American citizens.
Yeah. But it's on occasion a San Jose Mercury reporter named Gary Webb.
I was in the Navy. I used to transport drugs. I'm in the Navy. I transport drugs on the USS Mississippi. So you ain't telling me nothing I do not know. All right?
It's not.
And this was in 1978, 79, and 80s. All right? Ongoing.
Yeah. It's a problem. And when you look at the court system, they then end up roughly like a third of black males over the age of 18 have felony records.
A third of black males over the age of 18 have felony records, and that makes them unemployable because of their credit reports and all that. So would you consider that another form of slavery in America?
I think AIDS is the ultimate form of black slavery in America.
AIDS is the number one,
AIDS
but
is number
incarceration is up there too.
Well, it's up there, but it's peripheral to death. I mean, death.
Well, you go to jail, you can die too.
Yeah.
And AIDS is in jail, so it does have a mixture. It goes hand in hand.
Definitely. No doubt about that.
I'm gonna let you continue doing what you're doing. I'm gonna thank you for your time, and I'm gonna give you some information to contact me and look at my webpage.
Okay.
Like I said, this is an ongoing documentary, and I'm gonna take your fight and mix it with mine. And thank you for your time.